talking. That's pretty cold, that cold plate there. Minus 4.2 degrees. And it's 22 degrees in the room.
This video is aimed at anyone who is trying to fit out a small yacht, small boat, caravan or camper van, but you're working on a budget and you want to provide some form of refrigeration. Three ways you can provide refrigeration on a small boat. This could be fitted in a caravan or anything like that. Okay, well, option one is you could fit a proper fridge kit made by Isotherm. They use a compressor, it cools like a normal fridge. Advantages are very efficient, cools lower than 0 degrees if you want it to. They're expensive. This is a disadvantage. They're expensive and can be noisy when the compressor kicks in. Second option is you can fit a thermoelectric cool box, one of these units that you might buy from Halfords or somewhere. A lot of these retail outlets do them. You can probably buy one for £100 odd. Quite a nice size one. The problem is they use a hell of a lot of current and they're not that efficient because they use air cooling. So if you've got the cool box in a locker or something like this, the air in the locker will get very warm, which will defeat the object of cooling the interior of the cool box. So yeah, they're easy and cheap. That's the advantage. Disadvantage is they use lots of power and air is cooled, so will become less efficient when the cabin warms up. The other thing, of course, is with these is they don't get as cold as my homemade fridge option here. This is my homemade fridge option. It is still thermoelectric or uses Peltier devices, but my module, this module uses 2 Peltier devices, not one, and they're wired in series, which doubles the impedance and halves the current required. Cool box, homemade refrigeration. This is an experimental box that I've made, which is very well insulated. It's a plywood cube. It doesn't have to be a cube, you could fit this into a locker, but for experimental purposes I've built this to be exactly 33 litres volume internal space. So it's a cube 46 by 46 by 46 centimetres, but the internal volume is 33 litres. It's got 50mm of polyurethane insulation. Obviously you need to be able to wash the unit out and clean it, so it's lined with an acrylic sheet. You could use polycarbonate, and all the joints inside have been siliconed to make it waterproof, so you can wash it out. You get quite a bit of condensation form inside, so you might want to wash it out with a sponge every few days or so. So yeah, this is the cooler module. It's water cooled, and it's got a control box. So basically the whole kit comes, you get the cooler. Here's the cooler module. This is the same unit as in here. They come complete with a cold plate and a small fan. The small fan on the cold plate helps the air circulate inside. This is the hot plate. Water in and out for cooling. So yeah, you've got a cooling module. Not sure if you can see that. I don't want to get my fingers caught in the fans because they bite, these fans. But there's the cooler. It's a PC cooler. It's got two 12-volt fans on there, but they're actually running on 9 volts. I've reduced the power consumption of the fans by running off of a 9-volt module. And there's the radiator. Now that works very, very efficiently. A pond pump, small electric DC 12-volt pond pump, a water reservoir, and the cooling fan that I showed you earlier. That all forms the kit, and this is the control box. You've got auto, it's on full at the moment, auto and eco mode. The temperature inside on the cold plate now is 0.8 degrees, and the fridge now is coming down at 7.4. So it's come down, it's coming down. I mean, it's only been running for less than an hour now, so the temperature's coming down quite nicely inside. Okay, I'm just going to put the 10th cold drink, or tin drink in here, into the cooler box. So there's 10 cans in there now, chilling down. Cold plate's 2.6 degrees centigrade. That's warmed up a little bit because I took the lid off, you see. It'll take a while to cool back down again. But no, overall I'm quite pleased with this. The efficiency of this unit is very, very good. Let's measure the temperature of this hot plate now. 21.4 degrees. Okay. Which is the same as the outside temperature. So effectively that water cooling radiator is bringing the temperature bang on to air temperature. That's how good it is. I'm looking forward to a cold beer tonight. My yacht Bellini has got one of these thermo coolers, same design. I've been running it for 2 years. It's never had a problem, but the insulation on that cool box or fridge, my homemade fridge on the boat, I've only used 25mm polyurethane foam, and yeah, it seems fine. Yeah, we've got the two thermometers here. This one's measuring the air inside the box. This one is measuring the temperature of the cold plate itself. And now, as you can see, it's come down to 0.3 of a degrees. Plus 0.3 of a degree. So it's approaching 0. Now, if we just press that button, the temperature in the room is 21.3. So actually, this is dropping the temperature across this module by 21 degrees. Obviously, the more you pack into the fridge, the longer it will take to get that temperature down. Because don't forget, it's actually cooling all those items that you put into the fridge. If you switched it on with nothing in it at all, it would cool down very rapidly. So that actually goes to show that if you actually put a 6-pack of beers in there, or a 12-pack of beers, put plenty of tins of beer or soft drinks, it doesn't have to be alcohol, cool it down. Once it's cold, it acts as a cold store which keeps the temperature stable inside. This module here comes complete. Now, I'm not going to supply the parts to make this. You'll have to buy this off of me, which is retailing. I've got prices. If you email me, I'll send you a price list. But this has to be purchased from me. in one unit, because it's quite a skill in making it, to be honest. Okay, I'll just talk to you a little bit about the control unit. I've used, here it is, it's got an on-off switch, it's got a green light to tell you that it's on. There's a fuse on the side here, 5 amp fuse, and there's a cutout. Now if that comes on red, that light, it means that this has gone into cutback. That protects the Peltier devices within the cooler module. Yeah, I've used these phono connectors for the DC connections. They seem quite a good way of connecting DC. So we've got two outputs here. The red one goes to the pump and the black one goes to the fans on the radiator. The yellow one is the main current for the Peltier devices, and there is a DIN connector here which connects the two thermistors which monitor the temperature of the cold plate and the hot plate. Also, the internal fan is connected through this plug as well. Inside this module there's a power MOSFET which will switch the Peltiers on and off. So there's no relays in there, it's all electronic. But there's also a DC to DC converter in here that drops your 12 volts down to a stable 9 volts. This is required because if you're running the fans on raw boat supply, if the engine's running, the fans have got 14 volts across them, it's far too much for them. They're running away and they're pulling current, and they don't need it because actually they're more efficient when the fans are running at a slower RPM. And the same goes with the internal fan, and also the same goes for this pond pump here, which actually is running on 9 volts, stabilised 9 volts. So the main current consumption with the unit is the Peltier devices, but they are actually only drawing around about 1.8 amps at 12 volts. Obviously as the voltage goes up, and then when you've got the engine running, they'll pull a little bit more current, so 2.5 amps, which is great because it means they're going to get colder when the engine's running. So it kind of works with the power that you've got available. Basically the brochure that I've produced for this cooler module kit lists all the components you require to make it, and I can also send you a price list for all the bits, whether you buy them from me or whether you buy them direct from eBay or elsewhere is up to you. Okay, thank you very much for this. I look forward to hearing some feedback.
That's the air inside the fridge, and that's the temperature of the cold plate, -1 degrees centigrade.